Yes, Matthew chapter 25, verse 31. But when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?" The king will answer and say to them, "Truly I say to you, to the extent that you did it to one of these brothers of mine, even the least of them, you did it to me." Now, let's stop there. We'll fix to get to talk about the goats here in a minute. He said when Jesus comes in his, the Son of Man, or Jesus comes in his glory with all the angels, he's going to sit on his throne. He's going to divide the people like a shepherd would separate the sheep from the goats. And he's going to put the sheep on the right-hand side and the goats on the left. And then he's going to say the ones on the right, I was sick and hungry and naked and what have you, and all these different things, and you took care of me. And then they'll say, "Well, when did we see you?" And he's, "When you did to the least of these, my brethren." Anybody remember what James says about this particular subject in the book of James?
Love your brother?
No, that's not the one I'm looking for.
Pure and undefiled religion is this.
Pure and undefiled religion is this, to visit the fathers and widows in their afflictions. And the other one is, and I'm losing how it goes. It talks about if you see someone who is naked and hungry, and you say, "Just be warmed and filled," and you didn't give him anything to eat or anything to clothes to put on, you didn't help him a bit. I can't think. I lost how that goes, but anyway. Well, I'm gonna look it up.
Is that James chapter 2, verse 15 and 16?
Sounds right.
If a brother or sister is without clothing and in need of daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and be filled," and yet you do not give them what is necessary for their body, what use is that?
Yeah.
Even so, faith, if it has no works, is dead, being by itself.
127 is where it talks about the orphans and widows.
Yeah. For 127, talking about the widows and orphans. Now,
15 and 16.
the next section is about the goats and the people that didn't do these things. And we talked about here a week or so back about things Christians can do. Works that Christians are expected to do. Things that are works that God expects us to accomplish according to our abilities. Remember we talked about our abilities and even something as simple as being able to cook for someone who is in need, or to cheer someone up. That is something that God expects us to be able to do, if that is our talent. Now here he gives us a whole bunch of things that almost anyone can do, almost anyone is expected to do, is take care of people who are hungry, take care of people that don't have anything to wear, visit people who are sick, visit people who are in prison. All these, each and every one of us can do these things. So if we say, well, God, I ain't got no talent, so I'm going to go bury a man, well, then that's what that guy did. He didn't try. So Jesus gives us a whole bunch of stuff right here that we can do. Things we can use our talents with. Almost anybody can go visit someone who is sick. Even though you may not have a lot to say, sometimes just being there makes their day go by so much better. Go to a nursing home. That's maybe not the politically correct way to call it anymore, but anyway, go to a nursing home and those people don't even have to know who you are. And you can cheer them up just by listening to their story, paying a little bit of attention to them. We used to go see Pat when she was in the nursing home up there, and many times, especially if she was on the outside out there, you sit down with her and other people would come up and they would talk to you and they would tell you, and all you had to do is listen. You didn't have to say anything. Just sat there and pay attention and listen to them.
When we had Zane, and he was about 2 years old, of course, we went to the nursing home a lot because Tommy's mother was there.
Yeah.
And Zane would go and talk to his mother a lot. Then he'd just go to the other rooms, just like he knew him.
Yeah.
Visit them. But this one man's daughter appreciated it so much, even though he died. For Christmas or birthday or something, she brought Zane a great big present.
Yeah.
Because she was thankful that Zane, her dad, had remembered Zane, and he remembered his name.
Yeah.
And it was something that he just always visited all those people down that hall.
Yeah.
And they really enjoyed it.
I say, you don't have to say anything. Just kind of nod your head every once in a while, and a lot of the men have caps on that tells you whether they was in a World War II or the Korean War or World War II people about to all be something in the past. They're about to get too far along, but they have a cap on that they serve. Just ask them one question, and if they still got anything, they'll tell you all about it. Yes, sir.
What can we really do for God?
Well, God doesn't need anything. In fact, he talks about oaths of that they was about taking an oath, on God's by certain objects. But don't do it for God because God doesn't need it. God made it all, But God doesn't really need anything other than our love and our obedience.
But when it comes down to doing things,
Okay?
the only way we can do for God is what Christ has described.
Yeah, do for others. Yeah, do.
This is when we're doing for God.
Yeah.
We're to love Him, we're to follow those commandments, but there's nothing I can physically do for God. But if I'll do these things, He's going to be very pleased.
Virgil, I heard it explained one time that God doesn't need us to do something any old donkey would do.
he had a donkey one time to do it, didn't he?
You know, when you get like me, you can't go and do a lot of things.
That's right.
But I take the bulletin and send cards to everybody.
Okay, yeah,
And I feel like that's the least I can do.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of times, like say, I went to visit a friend, oh, it's been a few weeks back, I didn't know he was in the nursing home. He's my age, but he's actually a year older, we graduated together. And he was just as surprised as he could be that I came to see him. I didn't know he was there. I happened to run across his brother, and his brother told me. We went to school together, you know. But I mainly tried to listen to all he had to say, you know. And he didn't have very many visitors. He still had some family, but they didn't, too many of them, they didn't come by very often. So I'm trying to figure out a day I'm gonna go back and see him again. And I'm trying to encourage others that of my age to go visit him. But he was just tickled to death that somebody came to see him. And we didn't talk about anything really important. I just tried to listen to all he had to say. But like I said, this here our list is a simple list of things that each and every one of us can do. And that's what Jesus said, if you don't do it, that's what we haven't read the don't do it yet, we're fixing to. But if he said, how do we serve you, Lord? When you do it to the least, not to the greatest, but even to the least. These my brother.
Even as simple as a text message.
Yeah, text message sometimes, yeah.
You think, well, that's pretty impersonal. Well, that person was thinking about me when they sent me that text. You know,
Yeah,
they was thinking about me, even though it's a one sentence text or something.
Yeah.
They're still thinking about you.
one gentleman, he'll send you a text sometime at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't,
Yeah, you're exactly right there.
yeah. But at least we know that sometime during the day he was thinking about it, you know. And then that's worth a whole lot. Lily, I'm not making fun of you, so.
No, but guess what's coming about 3 o'clock?
I'm just telling y'all, do not disturb.
I get up pretty early anyway. It's been a few months
Yeah,
ago.
make it 2, that's all right.
A few months ago, I left my phone in the bedroom charging up, and I've got a cousin in Tulsa. He don't have a clock either, I don't think. Anyway, woke Becky up about 4 o'clock in the morning. I done was reading on the computer. She come bringing my phone in there. She said, "You got to start bringing this phone here with you." But
There's always an answer to that. You know, if you stay up late like I do, then a text back at about 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Slow some of that down.
well, he don't. I think he turns the volume off on the receiving end. I think. Maybe Sally's telling him to turn it off. I don't know.
Well, you know, my phone will keep a message
Yeah,
until the next day.
yeah.
And then whenever I open my phone,
It'll still be there. It sure will.
Hey, I had one of those at 4 o'clock in the morning one morning. I texted him back and he said, "What are you doing awake? What are you doing awake? I'm responding to your text."
Yeah. But anyway, like I say, this is a list. I just thought as I was studying this, you know, we talked about what we can do as members of the church, members of the body, looking for talents, looking for, you know, because we've emphasized on that God expects us to try, and He expects us to use what our abilities are, whatever that may be. And these are some very simple ones here, you know, because you know, a lot of people, well, I can't talk, I can't teach class, I can't lead singing, sure can't preach, I can't do this and that. This is a lot of stuff right here you can do. And I say some of these things you don't have to have. All you got to do is go sit there and just say hi sometimes, And they'll do all the talking. They'll do all the talking.
Again, God expects us to do.
Yes,
We are not to sit, you know.
Yeah.
We are to be out and about. All of these things it's talking about here is really making the world a better place for that person when you find them,
yes,
you know.
yeah.
And sometimes I think people come into your lives so that you can be of service.
You know, that's something that I've struggled with in the past, and I think I finally come up with the answer that suits me. You know, years ago, you know, people would, you know, be in a bad way, and people would try to help them out, and oh no, I don't take charity. And mine and Phil's grandpa was one of them. He wasn't going to take charity from nobody. But I've been studying on it and thinking about it. And if someone offers to help you and you decline forcefully or whatever, you are keeping that person from doing something that would really help them out. You know, they're going to help you out. They're wanting help. They're wanting to do something. And you're depriving them of the ability and the chance to do something good. And the Bible says, you know, if you know to do good and don't do it, to you it's sin. So sometimes you can make them feel bad. Well, I tried, and they wouldn't let me help them, you know.
You're quenching their fire.
You're quenching their fire. Okay, thank you. So if you've had bad luck or bad stretches of things happen to you, and someone comes up and say, here's, you know, let me buy you lunch, or here's some money to help you pay for your extraordinary expense, take it and thank them for it. Don't just say, oh no, I'm going to make it on my own, I'm going to tough it out, I'm going to do this. Take them and thank them for it, and you'll be blessed for them giving, you know, and they'll be blessed because they gave.
More blessed to give than to receive.
That's what the book says in it. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So both of you can have a blessing that way. And that's strictly my opinion, but I've done a lot of thinking about it. You know, I say my grandpa was one of the, oh no, we wasn't going to take charity. I'll tell this story and then I'll quit telling the story. Benny's dad brought my grandpa a wheelchair. Because mine and Phil's grandma had gotten down with rheumatoid arthritis, and grandpa wasn't going to take any charity. And finally Ben McDaniel said, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll just loan it to you. And whenever you don't need it anymore, you can loan it to somebody else. And that made it all right because but we wouldn't give it to him. He just loaned it to him. And so that made it all right. And he took the wheelchair.
Well, I still have that electric scooter that I put on the back of my car.
Yeah?
If I knew anybody that needed it, they're welcome to it.
Yeah.
Of course, right now it would have to be charged up.
Well, you know, you're going to have to wait. It'll take some maintenance, but I'll see where you're at.
But it's just sitting there in the garage.
Yeah.
And I have the thing to hook it up to the car and everything.
Becky inherited one years and years and years ago. It's an old, not near as fancy as the one we couldn't give it to anybody.
It's obsolete.
It's obsolete, and then finally we kept it in a real good safe place, and nobody wanted it. We finally just got rid of it. Just took it, put it in a different barn. It's not near so protected now, but it was her uncle's. But you can't hardly give it. You can't hardly give those things away. And some people need them, but hers the one she got became obsolete. And one day the one you got will become obsolete at one time. Sometime in the future it will. Now, okay, we talked about the sheep. Mr. Brown, don't you get offended about them, but we're not going to talk about the goats.
Back in those days, the goats was used to lead the sheep.
They were used to lead the sheep? Okay. I say, I didn't know they were separating them, and so I don't know. Said like a shepherd would separate the sheep from the goats. I know, what little bit I know about sheep and goats is that the goats are harder headed than the sheep are. And the sheep generally try to follow somebody, whereas the goats, they've got a mind of their own. What little have I've been around. But the main thing I know about a goat is if you got a new car, that's the first thing you want to visit on top of that new car.
And
That's
we
a
can't
man.
have one on Cantrell property.
That's the main thing I know about goats. Anyway, verse 41, then he will also say to those on his left, depart from me, accursed ones, in the eternal fire which has been prepared for the devil and his angels, for I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. Naked and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison and you did not visit me. Then they themselves also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not take care of you? Then he will answer them, so truly I say to you, to the extent that you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. They will go into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. So here we have the answer to, we talked about, this is the same way with remember the guy that took and buried his talent? He took it away from him and gave it to the guy that had gained the 10, or had 5 and made 10, and cast him into everlasting punishment. God expects us to do something. Now, you hear, oh, you can't work your way. And that's true. We can't work hard enough to earn our way to heaven, but God expects us to do things that will encourage others to become. Not everybody you help physically is going to become Christian. In fact, it'll be few and far between, but they will know that you are a Christian because you pay attention to other people and you try to help other people. That's the part. You will cause some people to think about their condition in life, and some of them will come to God. Don't get discouraged if they don't every time every person you go to see doesn't come run through the church door the next Sunday. If you start to get discouraged, always think about Noah. He worked on that boat and preached for 120 years and never got anybody in there but his family. That's it. But it didn't say he ever got discouraged. It didn't say he ever throwed his saw down. Well, Lord, it just ain't going to work. I ain't going to nobody on the boat with all these animals and my kids. But he kept on doing it for 120 years, is what Scripture says. That's longer than probably, I don't figure there's anybody in here that will live to be 120 years old. That just doesn't happen anymore, except very, very rare occasions. Sometimes you'll see people get to 107 or 110, but Moses lived to be 120. What was wrong with Moses when he died?
Here, disobeyed God.
I know, but what was wrong with him physically? Nothing. Thank you, David. My Brandon said the same thing. David's paying attention. He's not back there dozing off. He's paying attention. He said he wasn't nothing wrong with him. But he fulfilled the mission God gave to him. Most of us have got glasses on to read or to see where we're going or whatever. It says his eyes wasn't even dim. He wasn't nothing wrong physically or mentally. Just God said, you completed your mission.
Moses.
He gave him a reward.
Huh?
He gave him a reward. He took him home.
Took him home, yeah. He said, you're not gonna get the physical reward, you're not gonna get to go to the land of Canaan, but I'm gonna take him home. How do I know he took him home?
Because when Jesus,
You gotta talk louder, because some of these people can't hear you.
I don't know, when Jesus.
On the Mount of Transfiguration, thank you.
Couldn't think of the word.
Who did Jesus talk to? Moses and Elijah. Moses and Elijah.
Virgil,
Yes, ma'am.
after Moses committed that sin,
Uh-huh.
do you think God took him on to heaven? If Jesus talked to Moses and Elijah, would you think then that he was taken on to be with God, or?
Yes, that's what I think. That's what that whole incident. You know, Peter jumps up and said, "Let's build 3 tabernacles." Well, you got Moses and Jesus and Elijah there, and Moses represents the old law, Elijah represents the prophets, and Jesus is the new deal. And God said, "Listen to Jesus because he's my son." I think our time is up. I think next week will be March the 4th. I didn't miscalculate. Is that right? Somebody say yes or no. Sunday's the 1st. You'll have a Friday the 13th again next month. But anyway.